It's Perp back with another video, and I just got done watching Tales from the Loop episode 5, and this continuously becomes a really interesting way to tell a story. I'm gonna get into it, but before I do, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and follow me on Twitter. I will knock out the rest of these episodes very shortly. We got about 3 episodes left. I'm looking forward to what's next. But before we get into what's next, let's get into episode 5. Now, this episode is pretty much about Danny's family, mostly his father, Ed. He's a very hardworking man. He doesn't really like handouts. He likes to fix things on his own, and he's very protective of his family, especially what happened to Danny. Not knowing that Danny is still out there just in somebody else's body. You know, him and his wife, Kate, always have these back and forths and just are always arguing. It's a very frustrating environment to be in when your back's against the wall and they're just trying to protect, their daughter Beth. And this is where he gets, some information that there's people getting their houses broken into, and that's kind of how the May episode, episode 3 ties in a little bit with this, because we see the guy that was banging May's mom in this episode, and this is kind of alarming to Ed, and he doesn't want anything bad to happen to his family, because he's already going through enough. He sees his daughter getting bullied by some kids, and that freaks him out and causes more friction between him and Katie. And they still love each other. It's just it's really hard times ever since what happened with Danny and whatnot. So the cops show up, and Kate is really not feeling how they're going about things, and things are just getting really hectic. So he ends up caving in and asking for an advance. I'm talking about Ed. He ends up asking for advance from his boss, and he ends up buying a scrapper. And I'm like, why the fuck is he buying a scrapper? But he uses the scrapper to protect and patrol his household, and he kind of gets some sense of power back, in his life. And it's crazy what a man is willing to do to protect his family. He's going to get a robot. But this shortly just doesn't last, because reality starts to set in and things start to become more difficult and less easy. He thought getting the scrapper maybe could help protect his family, but he didn't know the repercussions of just other things like the lights and just being short on bills, period. And this frustrates Kate, because she feels like he's just doing way too much, and you're putting your family kind of in danger and not really protecting them. And he doesn't see it that way. Now, even the cops have to get involved, because the neighbors are kind of worried and concerned about Ed. So the cops have to even watch him and watch what's going on in these neighborhoods. Now we get a scene where Jacob, aka Danny, shows up to the house. He's the one that's kind of, been going in and out the house and still communicating with his sister, Beth. And he leaves something in the garage. I forget what it was. This alarms Ed to kind of go into the garage and see what's going on. And he uses the scrapper and almost kills Beth, which leads Kate to take Beth and just go somewhere else and not be around Ed. And this crushes Ed, really breaks him down and makes him realize that, I gotta make this right. So he ends up slowly starting to make things right. He gets rid of the scrapper. He has this conversation with his son that's in a coma, and that confirms that he's not dead. He's just still in a coma. Don't know if he's gonna awake from that yet, but you know, you could kind of say that this ended with a happy ending. You know, Kate and Beth come back and things are kind of starting to become normal besides everything with Danny. Solid episode overall, but what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. I really enjoyed this, but it's time for me to go watch episode 6. Until my next review, I am out. Peace.
Why do you like cannabis so much? Like, what is it? Like, I mean, it's been such a huge part of your brand. I just would be interested to hear, like, why?
I should take you to my green room.
I'm fine with that. Maybe after this.
Nah, well, for one, I enjoy it for medical reasons.
Trouble sleeping?